Chapter 6. Now it came about that when men started to grow in numbers on the surface of the ground, and daughters were born to them, then the sons of the true God began to notice the daughters of men, that they were good-looking, and they went taking wives for themselves, namely, all whom they chose. After that Jehovah said, My spirit shall not act toward man indefinitely, in that he is also flesh. Accordingly, his days shall amount to 120 years. The Nephilim proved to be in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of the true God continued to have relations with the daughters of men, and they bore sons to them, they were the mighty ones who were of old, the men of fame. Consequently, Jehovah saw that the badness of man was abundant in the earth, and every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only bad all the time. And Jehovah felt regrets that he had made men in the earth, and he felt hurt at his heart. So Jehovah said, I am going to wipe men whom I have created off the surface of the ground, from man to domestic animal, to moving animal, and to flying creature of the heavens, because I do regret that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of Jehovah. This is the history of Noah. Noah was a righteous man. He proved himself faultless among his contemporaries. Noah walked with the true God. In time, Noah became father to 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the earth came to be ruined in the sight of the true God, and the earth became filled with violence. So God saw the earth, and look, it was ruined, because all flesh had ruined its way on the earth. After that, God said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come before me, because the earth is full of violence as a result of them, and here I am bringing them to ruin together with the earth. Make for yourself an ark out of wood of a resinous tree. You will make compartments in the ark, and you must cover it inside and outside with tar. And this is how you will make it. 300 cubits the length of the ark, 50 cubits its width, and 30 cubits its height. You will make a tzoar, roof or window, for the ark, and you will complete it to the extent of a cubit upward, and the entrance of the ark you will put in its side. You will make it with a lower story, a second story, and a third story. And as for me, here I am bringing the deluge of waters upon the earth, to bring to ruin all flesh, in which the force of life is active from under the heavens. Everything that is in the earth will expire. And I do establish my covenant with you, and you must go into the ark, you and your sons, and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living creature of every sort of flesh, 2 of each, you will bring into the ark, to preserve them alive with you. Male and female they will be. Of the flying creatures according to their kinds, and of the domestic animals according to their kinds, of all moving animals of the ground according to their kinds. 2 of each will go in there to you, to preserve them alive. And as for you, take for yourself every sort of food that is eaten, and you must gather it to yourself, and it must serve as food for you and for them. And Noah proceeded to do according to all that God had commanded him. He did just so. Chapter 7. After that, Jehovah said to Noah, "Go, you and all your household into the ark, because you are the one I have seen to be righteous before me among this generation. Of every clean beast you must take to yourself by sevens, the sire and its mate, and of every beast that is not clean, just two, the sire and its mate. Also of the flying creatures of the heavens by sevens, male and female, to preserve offspring alive on the surface of the entire earth. For in just 7 days more I am making it rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe every existing thing that I have made off the surface of the ground." And Noah proceeded to do according to all that Jehovah had commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the deluge of waters occurred on the earth. So Noah went in, and his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, into the ark ahead of the waters of the deluge. Of every clean beast, and of every beast that is not clean, and of the flying creatures and everything that moves on the ground, they went in by twos to Noah inside the ark, male and female, just as God had commanded Noah. And 7 days later, it turned out that the waters of the deluge came upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on this day, all the springs of the vast watery deep were broken open, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and the downpour upon the earth went on for 40 days and 40 nights. On this very day Noah went in, and Shem and Ham and Japheth, Noah's sons, and the wife of Noah, and the 3 wives of his sons with him, into the ark. They, and every wild beast according to its kind, and every domestic animal according to its kind, and every moving animal that moves on the earth according to its kind, and every flying creature of the heavens according to its kind, every bird, every winged creature. And they kept going to Noah inside the ark, 2 by 2, of every sort of flesh in which the force of life was active. And those going in, male and female, of every sort of flesh went in, just as God had commanded him. After that, Jehovah shut the door behind him. And the deluge went on for 40 days upon the earth, and the waters kept increasing, and began carrying the ark, and it was floating high above the earth. And the waters became overwhelming, and kept increasing greatly upon the earth. But the ark kept going on the surface of the waters. And the waters overwhelmed the earth so greatly, that all the tall mountains that were under the whole heavens came to be covered. Up to 15 cubits the waters overwhelmed them, and the mountains became covered. So all flesh that was moving upon the earth expired, among the flying creatures, and among the domestic animals, and among the wild beasts, and among all the swarms that were swarming upon the earth, and all mankind. Everything in which the breath of the force of life was active in its nostrils, namely, all that were on the dry ground, died. Thus he wiped out every existing thing that was on the surface of the ground, from man to beast, to moving animal, and to flying creature of the heavens, and they were wiped off the earth. And only Noah, and those who were with him in the ark, kept on surviving. And the waters continued overwhelming the earth 150 days. Chapter 8. After that, God remembered Noah, and every wild beast and every domestic animal that was with him in the ark. And God caused a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters began to subside. And the springs of the watery deep, and the floodgates of the heavens became stopped up, and so the downpour from the heavens was restrained. And the waters began receding from off the earth, progressively receding, and at the end of 150 days the waters were lacking. And in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, and the waters kept on progressively lessening until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st of the month, the tops of the mountains appeared. So it occurred that at the end of 40 days, Noah proceeded to open the window of the ark that he had made. After that, he sent out a raven, and it continued flying outdoors, going and returning, until the waters dried off the earth. Later, he sent out from him a dove, to see whether the waters had abated from the surface of the ground. And the dove did not find any resting place for the sole of its foot, and so it returned to him into the ark, because the waters were yet upon the surface of the whole earth. At that he put his hand out, and took it, and brought it to himself inside the ark. And he went on waiting still another 7 days, and once again he sent out the dove from the ark. Later on the dove came to him about the time of evening, and look, there was an olive leaf freshly plucked in its bill. And so Noah got to know that the waters had abated from the earth. And he went on waiting still another 7 days. Then he sent out the dove, but it did not come back again to him any more. Now in the 601st year, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, it came about that the waters had drained from off the earth, and Noah proceeded to remove the covering of the ark and to look, and here the surface of the ground had drained dry. And in the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth had dried off. God now spoke to Noah, saying, "Go out of the ark, you and your wife, and your sons wives with you, every living creature that is with you of every sort of flesh, among the flying creatures and among the beasts, and among all the moving animals that move upon the earth, bring out with you, as they must swarm in the earth, and be fruitful, and become many upon the earth." At that Noah went out, and also his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. Every living creature, every moving animal, and every flying creature, everything that moves on the earth, according to their families, they went out of the ark. And Noah began to build an altar to Jehovah, and to take some of all the clean beasts and of all the clean flying creatures, and to offer burnt offerings upon the altar. And Jehovah began to smell a restful odor, and so Jehovah said in his heart, "Never again shall I call down evil upon the ground on man's account, because the inclination of the heart of man is bad from his youth up, and never again shall I deal every living thing a blow, just as I have done. For all the days the earth continues, seed sowing and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night will never cease."